All right. So, hello. Tonight we're talking about taking care of yourself, and Source will handle the rest. So, that has been really a clear message because I think we can get lost in the sauce a lot. We get really excited when we discover all of these new things. We want to change our lives and we want to change them fast. Like, we want to get to the good stuff, like immediately, right? Like, we are the microwave society. We're trying to get things right away. But why I wanted to talk about taking care of yourself is really because, the environment, society, everything that's happening around us is created by us. And even if you kind of feel like, well, actually, it's, the government, or it's, my community, or it's, my parents. Either way, all of these things are a trickle down effect of us, right? Like, we are the ones that create the society that we live in. So sometimes we need to remember that we have to go back to the basics. And I think that's what a lot of us are discovering, especially when it comes to all of these different techniques for healing, for expansion, all of these, all of the hidden knowledge that's being resurfaced again. Like, we have to go back to the basics. And when it comes to creating something better for ourselves, it means that we have to start with ourselves. So I want to talk about the importance of taking care of your fourfold being. You're going to hear me say this a lot, your fourfold being, right? That's your spiritual, your mental, your emotional, your physical. Okay. So at any point in time, like, you can kind of be a little off balance. And it's usually something like you'll notice in a feeling, something feels off. Like, it might not be, a bunch of activities happening, but you just feel off, right? So that's another indication, right? Of course, you see all the stuff that's happening around us. That's another indication of how each of us are taking care of ourselves. In the US, a lot of the leading causes for death are, things that are caused by people's decisions with themselves, right? People not taking care of themselves. They're they're caused by self, like obesity, heart disease. Like, a lot of these things are created because of the choices people made for how to take care of their bodies, right? So if we're going to be out here, especially as like light workers and healers, right, we have to make sure that the care that we take for ourselves is on point. Okay. So we need to make sure that it's on point, because now we're going out there and we're helping others and healing others. And that energy is being transferred. It's being transmuted. It's being shared. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So really, it's important to kind of maintain the balance for all of these things. And you have to have routines in place for yourself, right? Like, it sounds like, well, I got this. I take showers. I brush my teeth. I do nature walks. Maybe I take a bath every once in a while. Yeah, those are all great things. But we want to do the check-in and make sure that each aspect of ourselves, we consciously have tools in place to take care of them. And we do them regularly, right? We don't wait until things have gone, haywire. We don't need to wait for that, right? We already know that we have a consistent schedule or routine for ourselves to maintain balance. So, I mean, like, when we think about how things are run, right? How we are, our different systems, we have leaders and things in place. Can you imagine the differences that would occur if these people were operating more from a heart-centered, intentional space, right? Like, yes, the planet's vibration is shifting, mass consciousness is rising, right? But the reason also we want to take care of ourselves, because we're also the ones that are going to be moving into these positions of power, these positions where we can look at these systems that we're not, they're no longer serving us, and rebuild them into something that actually contributes to the planet, actually makes for like helping everyone, right? Everyone here deserves their basic needs to be met. And so we still need to go back to the basics to make sure that we are helping our others have their basic needs met. So we have to do our part in that, making sure that we take care of ourselves. It raises our vibration. learning about all these things, taking time for introspection, right? It makes for us to be able to address situations with level-headedness, with peace in mind, with calm, right? So now you'll approach all of these things that you don't like, not with anger, right? Because that's usually what we see. Anger, people are pissed, people are mad, people are confused. So all of this stuff that's being stirred up and brought to the surface, yes. So now we see it, right? But the ways that we change it now is we have to go back to the basics of ensuring that the people that are in place are actually at a high vibration and actually have the highest good of the planet in mind, in their intention. It's the good of the planet, right? Like, we have everything kind of segmented right now, borders and countries and things like that. But at the end of the day, we are planet Earth. We are the humans of planet Earth. We are the stewards of Earth. So our job is to make sure that we take care of Earth. And if we are doing our job with ourselves, it creates that ripple effect. And now all of a sudden you have children growing up with the emotional intelligence, right? With their intuitions on point, sharp, right? They know all the things, all the wisdom, all the indigenous wisdom, the ancient wisdom, it's being funneled through them. And now they're going to be creating something better. Okay. So we're still in the process of getting things together, but I want to reiterate that the importance of taking care of your fourfold being, it is the example that you'll be setting for others, right? Then at one point in time, therapy was taboo, right? Now we're at a place where everyone's like, oh yeah, you need to go to therapy. So like, that's a prime example of how we are already shifting. So let's continue to shift. Let's continue to move towards taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of our others even better, and they can take care of themselves, and we just create the ripple effect. So when you think about business, right? If we have business owners, entrepreneurs that are raising their vibration, taking care of themselves, now they're going to funnel that energy into their business, right? For profit is going to shift because now we're for people, right? We're here trying to build things that actually serve us. And when we identify that they no longer serve us, we shift to something else. We create something else, okay? So like when you think about parents, right? If you have parents that are taking care of themselves at a high vibration, they're doing everything for their four aspects, the kids see that, right? Kids are going to see that and they're going to replicate that. It just becomes innate. It's not necessarily something that has to continuously be taught. It's just what we do. Okay. And you even have like in relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, right? We'll be able to communicate from a place of calm, of peace, of clarity. There's always going to be disagreements. There don't have to be big fights and arguments. But if we can communicate with each other with more emotional intelligence now, we're both, we're all of us are taking care of ourselves in this, we can talk and come to a resolution. Okay, so it has this effect on everything. And although it sounds so simple, so many of us are still not doing it. So many of us are still missing the basics, right? The physical part, it's off. Maybe it's the mental, maybe it's the emotional, the spiritual. At the end of the day, everything funnels down from the spiritual. Okay. So if we continue to, disregard it, everything's going to always be off balance. But now the planet is shifting to incorporate it more, spirituality more, more focus on the spiritual. So that means the mental, the emotional, the physical, all those things now are going to be a representation of our souls, of our spirit. That's the goal. So I want to just say, to sum it up, like, yes, please continue to take care of yourself. If you are unsure too about like what exactly you need to be doing, just simplify it, right? Especially with the way our brains work, with, how linear, logical, the way we like to try to do things, then you need to program it. You need to pick a couple things per aspect, put it on the calendar, build it into your life, put it on the fridge, teach the kids, have the kids do the same thing, right? We want to go back to these basics and make sure they are strong. The foundation is strong because this is the foundation with which we're going to rebuild our society, right? We're going to rebuild the systems in our government, in our countries, right? Like we need to rebuild it on a solid foundation. And the solid foundation is us taking care of ourselves. Okay. So if you need a tool or an assistant, I have a free toolkit download. If you just comment fourfold in the comments, I'll get that right to you. But yes, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.